chromosome conditions, some genetic conditions are passed down from parent to child. Some examples that you might have heard of before are cystic fibrosis and sickle cell disease. Cystic fibrosis usually causes life-shortening breathing and other health problems, while sickle cell disease is a blood condition that can cause frequent infections, a higher chance of stroke, and episodes of pain called crises. These conditions are called recessive conditions. They're unique because of the way they run in the family. To have a recessive condition, you need to get two non-working pieces of DNA called genes. Genes are like recipes. They're written in our DNA and tell our body how to work and grow. You get two copies of most of your genes. One copy comes from your father and one from your mother. If a mother and father are both carriers for the same recessive condition, every time they get pregnant, there's a 1 in 4 or 25% chance to have a child who doesn't have the condition and isn't a carrier. There's a 2 in 4 or 50% chance of having a child who's a carrier like they are. And lastly, there's a 1 in 4 or 25% chance of having a child who will actually have the recessive condition that they're carriers for. These chances are the same for both sons and daughters. Many people say, I've never heard of cystic fibrosis or sickle cell disease or any other recessive condition in my family, so I don't think those could happen to my baby. It's true that these conditions are not very common, but they can happen in any family, whether or not they've been seen before. Although you don't have the disease, there's a possibility that you're a carrier. This means that you have just one non-working copy of a gene and the other copy works just fine. If your partner happens to be a carrier for the same condition, there's a chance that you could both pass on those non-working copies and have a child with a recessive condition. There's no way to tell just by looking at someone whether or not they're a carrier. The only way to know is by having specific genetic carrier screening that looks at your genes. That's why it's recommended to offer carrier screening to all women, either before or during a pregnancy.